Hey everybody, it's me, Jill, and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 11, Episode 12, Teresa's Mystery Man. Remember when Teresa said this was her show at one of the reunions? Well, she's right. She's right. Because what other housewife gets 2 episodes named after them? Last week was Teresa in Love, and this week is Teresa's Mystery Man. I mean, Bravo just falls all over her. At this point, I think the only 2 women who are guaranteed to come back for a season 12 would be Teresa and, probably Kathy. If you didn't watch my review last week, you probably think I'm talking about Kathy Wakili. I am not. I am talking about the MVP of episode 11. I don't know her last name. It doesn't even matter. This girl managed to be in more scenes than Teresa. You thought Michelle's biggest mistake was showing too much side boob? No. It was inviting Kathy to her cocktail party. Now all anyone is talking about is Kathy. Just kidding. It's probably just me. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one talking about Kathy. Okay, this week opens up with Melissa walking into Envy and telling Emily, her store manager, that the mannequin in the window looks like a hooker. It's a denim miniskirt and a sweater. So, not a very good hooker. Side note, Emily is wearing her mask under her nose, and that is such a huge pet peeve of mine. I remember hearing once somebody described it like if a guy was wearing pants, but he had his penis out. Kind of like, why wear pants at all, But with the mask, listen, either wear it or don't, but just don't pretend like you're complying when you know you're not. Over at Margaret's house, they're prepping everything for her cover shoot. Lexi was either scratched or burned, or Margaret kissed her right there, because she's got this mark on her cheek that I guess we're just supposed to ignore. Over at Jackie's, the kids are playing soccer out on the lawn. Jackie is the only housewife who films outside more than in. Are those kids even allowed in the house? So her birthday trip is coming up, and she's packing up these goodie bags. They're going to an apple orchard to pick apples and a winery. Or I guess this place is both of those things. And she's fixing up like all the goodie bags for everybody. I feel like that's a new thing where adults give goodie bags to each other. I don't hate it. I kind of like the idea. I think it's cute. It doesn't have to be expensive. I guess it's just kind of a nice way of saying like, thanks for coming. But I don't feel like we ever used to do that. So I'm not sure if it's like just this is what people do now or this is a housewife thing. So now Dolores calls Jackie on the phone and she tells her that she scheduled a doctor's appointment for the morning that they're supposed to leave. And so she is coming, but she's just going to meet them there. And Jackie said, "Oh, I'm so glad you're still coming because I didn't get a chance to talk to you since Michelle's cocktail party." Then we get a flashback to Jackie going, "I didn't figure it out." And Dolores going, "Well, figure it out, because what comes out of my mouth is what I mean." Jackie actually says to her, "It's not that you just don't want to ride up with everybody, right?" Dolores goes, "No, I've cooled off." Then in her confessional, "I don't have a doctor's appointment." I love it. "But after Michelle's party, I don't want to be in the car with those jerk-offs." So they hang up and Jackie turns to Evan and she goes, "She was telling the truth, right?" And he's like, "Absolutely. Human beings should be able to talk out their differences in a reasonable manner." And Jackie goes, "Well, human beings and women from New Jersey are 2 different things." Now we're at Jennifer's house, and she is with her interior designer, and she has purchased a bunch of new furniture, and it's all being delivered now. I see some comfy round chairs, but it feels like it's an odd placement. It looks like it's set up for social distancing. These chairs look so far away from each other. So in Jennifer's confessional, she said, "I've been wanting to get new furniture for a while now. In the past, I've always sort of gravitated toward Bill's style." And then they show this picture. Oh my God, tell me this doesn't look like the inside of a coffin. Anyway, she said, but with the pandemic, she's just been staring at the furniture in her house thinking, I really hate this stuff. Side note, do you guys remember Bill's office? It might have been 2 seasons ago. It's his home office. He came home from work and he went into his office and Jennifer brought him food or something. The inside of his office, like red walls and black furniture. He had a skull on his desk. I mean, it can only be described as Transylvania chic. If you were on the fence as to whether or not this guy was a vampire, all doubts were erased when we saw his office. Now Jennifer's talking to her dad and she's like, how do you like the new furniture, Dad? And he sits down on the couch and the couch just swallows this little man up. Oh my God, side note. Did you guys see the picture of the Bidens and the Carters? It's all over the internet. The way this picture was taken, or altered, I should say, Jill and Joe Biden look like giants compared to Jimmy Carter and Rosalind Carter. It is hilarious. Actually, I'm going to try and post it here so you guys can see it. It's just so bizarre. They look like two giants and two, I don't know, little elves. Anyway, her dad looks like Rosalind Carter to me right now. So Jennifer calls her mom, Josephine, to come over and see the furniture. I guess she said, my mom helped me pick out a lot of it and she was really excited. And so now that it's finally here, I want her to come and see it. But her mom is mad at her and Jennifer asks her why. And what she says is that Jennifer made a fool of her in front of the other moms when she made her and her husband the topic of conversation. Jennifer said, I wanted you to see that a lot of the other ladies don't live with their husbands. And Josephine goes, so what? If someone jumps, I'm supposed to jump too? Then she says that Jennifer embarrassed her and made her look like the biggest fool. Jennifer said, Mom, there's a saying, no good deed goes unpunished. And I tried to do something good, but I guess I'll never learn my lesson. And Josephine was like, it is what it is. And she said, I'm done. And they hang up. And guys, that was rough. For one thing, Josephine was speaking, I assume Turkish, the entire conversation. And I'm not sure if she did it because she didn't want this to make it on the air or she didn't want anybody to know what she was saying. But of course, Bravo was recording it and Bravo translated it for us. And I just have this overwhelming feeling that Jennifer needs to stop talking about her parents right now. I know they're adults, but they're also a little bit older and they're immigrants. And I'm not sure if they completely, fully understand the ramifications of all of this being on a TV show with millions of viewers. I don't know. I'm making an assumption that she was speaking Turkish because she didn't want it to get on the air, but I could be very wrong about that. It's possible that she always speaks Turkish to Jennifer and only speaks English when they're on camera. I don't know. Her parents feel vulnerable to me. It would be the same if one of the Housewives' children was trying to not be on camera and was embarrassed. I would be like, oh my God, stop having your child be your storyline. And that's how I feel about this with Jennifer. Stop having your parents' marriage be your storyline. If she was afraid that nobody would understand why the dad was living with her, she could have explained it in one sentence. My parents are arguing right now, and so I just had my dad come stay with me for a bit. And that should have been the end of it, really, I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable. Next, we check in with Teresa, and Melania is sitting at the counter. She's eating a cheeseburger and fries, while Teresa is going to have a hard-boiled egg and some blueberries. And Melania is laughing at her for having to eat like that. But you know what? Just wait till that metabolism of yours slows down, Melania. It happens to the best of us. Then her brother Joe comes over wearing jeans that are almost ripped into short shorts. I mean, whatever that hole at the knee is that goes all the way up to the thigh, it's time for a new pair. Side note, I think Teresa's front doors are fighting me back now. The camera is giving them such a close-up in this scene that I feel personally attacked. But now I'm even more determined to understand them. Is there no keyhole? How do you lock them? Do you lock them? I mean, maybe they're so frightening that no one would dare break in. I know I wouldn't. There's no doorknobs. Are you just supposed to push on those wings? I'm so confused. And what is that little mustache in the middle? Wait, are those wings actually supposed to be like waves? And then look at the line between the smooth part of the door and that razor stubble side. It's sort of jagged. Oh, okay, the inside of the doors are almost identical to the outside, but there are doorknobs and a keyhole. On the inside of the doors, that inner smooth part is raised a little bit, and it is definitely jagged, almost like it's like a lion's mane or something. You could also see the screw, the ends of the screws on the inside from where those lion door knockers are on the outside. That's a little weird. And there's something at the top of the door that I can't get a good enough picture of. Guys, I'm going to have nightmares about these stupid doors. So Joe is there to help Teresa clean out her garage. Oh my God, another shot of the doors. These doors are thirstier for the spotlight than Kathy. Okay, this is weird. It seems as though Teresa mostly just needs Amazon boxes moved out of her garage. Do they not have recycling? Girl, break those boxes down and recycle them. Joe makes a joke saying he's sick of helping her all the time and that she needs a man in this house. Okay. Side note, what the hell? Look at those scary, giant wooden nutcracker things. Are those candy canes? Good Lord, please tell me she doesn't put those out at Christmas time. I'll tell you what, they are probably placed on either side of those front doors. Merry Christmas. That should be Halloween. Maybe it's a Halloween decoration. So Teresa goes, yeah, what's your deal telling everybody I'm in love, Joey? Joe's like, why hide it? Teresa, why hide it? Are you serious? Joe's like, he's amazing. He's everything we wanted in a man. I mean, everything you wanted in a man. And Teresa's like, I'm going to kick your ass. I swear to God. This is when we play the tender romantic music. As Joe says to his sister, I always wanted someone to love you, to hold you, and tell you you're beautiful, make you feel like a woman. Just a reminder, this is her brother speaking right now. He goes on to say, I love a man who can admit, I'm in love with her. This guy, he blows me away. Your ex-husband never said anything nice to you, ever. Now we get Bravo's favorite flashback, the vineyard when Joe Giudice was caught on a hot mic talking to a mystery person as Teresa walked up to him. Here she comes, my bitch wife. She's such a see you next Tuesday. And then their second favorite is Teresa and Joe in their kitchen. I don't know what happens prior to this, but Joe says to her, I'll smack your head up against the wall, so shut up. Those chestnuts will never get old. Of course, that was all long ago before Joe became an inventor of a massager, for your ass. Anyway, Teresa says to her brother, yeah, second time around, I want what I want. Otherwise, I'm not going to be with that person. Joe. Did I mention this is her brother, Joe? Yeah. Just tell me this, Teresa. Are you in love with him? Teresa's like, listen, he's amazing. He makes me laugh. He's smart. But it's only been a few months, Joe. And I don't want to talk about my relationship until I'm more secure with it. Which has to be the most sense Teresa has ever made in her life. Okay, so back at Margaret's, it's the cover shoot for the cover of her book. Joe B says, I lost 8 years of my life getting this room ready. And, it's definitely not my taste. Personally, I hate a dead animal on the wall. Real or not, I hate that. I mean, especially real. But I can see the chandeliers that Joe said were like custom made and he had to put them up at 11:30 at night. Remember, he was telling the guys when they were golfing. And those are pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's all black. The fireplace is all painted black. The walls are black. As I think about it, this might also be Transylvania chic. Let's ask Bill if he thinks he could sleep in this room during the day. See what he says. Run it past the expert. Okay, so this is sort of a cute concept because the book is called Caviar Dreams on a Tuna Fish Budget. And she's like all dressed up and dripping in jewels and very elegant. And then she'll be eating a bagel with tuna fish. There's like McDonald's cups and stuff. They're going to have like the McDonald's fry box with like jewels and necklaces coming out of it. I don't know. It's kind of cool. Marge Sr. is also going to be on the back cover with Margaret, so she arrives now, too, to get her hair and makeup done. It's a big production. There's a lot of crew there, photographers and lighting people and set designers and stuff. It's like bustling. We see some very cute pictures with her and her mom and her little dog, Bella. And when it's over, Margaret says to Marge Sr., Ma, aren't you excited? You're on the back cover of a book. And her mom said, I'm excited about you. And then they both tear up and she said, I'm so proud of you. And they hug. It was very, very sweet. Next, we're at Dolores' house and Frank walks in. Dolores, where are you? Every time. I'm in the kitchen, Frank. Come and sign the cards. So Frank's got like his hands full with these Mylar balloons. And Dolores tells us in her confessional that her kids, their birthdays are 1 week apart. And so their whole lives, they have had like a big party together. I bet they hated that. As I'm thinking about it now. It sounds like a good idea as a parent, but I bet the kids kind of hated it. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they thought that was fun. Frank says, I can't believe how old our children are getting, Dolores. We have one child who's a doctor and the other one on Wall Street. We didn't do too bad, Dolores. Okay, hold up. I mean, they're not there yet. But yes, Frankie's been studying hard, and I assume Gabby is as well. How many Gabbys are on this show? Dolores has a daughter, Gabby. Jennifer has a daughter, Gabby. Teresa has Gabriella. Well, that's at least 3. So now Gabby and Frankie come in the door now. Gabby is 25 and Frankie's 22. They kiss their mom and dad. Gabby said, oh, I like your shirt, Mom. Dolores, oh, yeah, you can have it. Gabby goes, yeah, I don't want it. It's nice, though. So then Frank said, where's David? Is he close? Dolores said he had a really big case today. He had to deliver a baby that the helicopter was waiting for because he needed open heart surgery, which breaks my heart. Gabby goes, oh my God. Frankie goes, yeah, and David flew the helicopter while delivering the baby. So everybody laughs, and surprise, surprise, David walks in. Kisses everybody hello. Gabby said, I don't know who David is dating, my mom or my dad. Yeah, we're all kind of wondering the same thing, Gabby. You are not alone. And Frank goes, well, who would you rather date? David goes, Dolores. Frank doesn't yell, though. And Frank goes, oh, you should have seen Dolores at the cocktail party the other day. And Dolores goes, I did yell because they said, why did David buy you a Porsche instead of a ring? They actually took a poll to see who thought the Porsche was a diversion. I mean, I don't think there was an actual poll taken, was there? Frank, do you really care what they think, David? And David goes, no. Dolores, why don't you take offense at that? David, I'm 56 years old. I'm comfortable in my life. It's okay. Frank goes, well, she'll defend you. You know, she knows you can't fight. And David thought that was funny. Dolores goes, we're in a beautiful monogamous relationship. Then Gabby says to her dad, I know that's a really foreign concept for you, Dad. I mean, that was funny, but guess they've gotten to the point where they can laugh about Frank's infidelity with their kids. And Frank Sr.'s like, oh, why does it always come back to me? So David and Dolores go and they bring out these cakes for their birthday. The cakes are also a bit premature. The one for Frankie has Wall Street all over it and 2 gold bricks on top. And the one for Gabby has animals and a dog and a stethoscope on top of hers. I mean, listen, I love that they're encouraging the kids, and I do think their kids are on the right path. But, maybe don't jinx it. How about that? I don't know. Maybe they think this works like The Secret. If they manifest it, it will happen. Think of the cakes as like edible vision boards. Dolores says, the cakes are from Palermo's bakery. David delivered their children. Well, now it's the morning of the little girls' outing to the vineyard / orchard, whatever. Margaret and Melissa arrive at Jackie's first, and of course they have a van that's waiting to take them all. Jackie has them come sit down in the dining room because she has ordered breakfast and coffee for everybody while they're waiting for the others to arrive. And Jackie tells them that Dolores called and said that she would meet them up there because she has a doctor's appointment, but that Jackie wonders if it isn't just because she doesn't want to ride up with them. And Melissa goes, you know what though? When I see her, I'm going to apologize because I think Joe was challenging her. You think? He was. He was relentless. It's almost as if they got word that there was one more opening for a Real Housewife, and Joe, Kathy, and Teresa's front doors are all competing for it. Listen, those front doors are like, you thought Danielle was evil. Hold my beer. I can see them suddenly closing on Margaret's ponytail. Margaret spray painting slut across them. I'm just saying it could work. Better than the year they had Amber and the twins. Oh my God, you guys remember that? So Margaret tells them she saw Dolores. She says, I spoke to her, and guess what? She's upset about the poll. Wait, was there a poll, like an actual poll taken? How did I miss that? We get a flashback to Margaret at Dolores' house, and they're talking about this. Dolores says, coming from Joe, I'll tell you, I almost find it entertaining. He is a Neanderthal. I expect it from him, but not my friends. They took a poll at a party. That was a scumbag move. Why does she keep saying that? Now I'm thinking there was a poll and I just don't remember it. Side note, there are 12 separate breakfast containers on that table. And that is not counting the 2 that Margaret and Melissa took. Who was Jackie expecting? Jackie again says, well, I was just confused because she said she wanted a ring. And now that she didn't get one, she says she's fine with it. It seems like she's rationalizing. And maybe she is. But she shouldn't have to tell her friends 10 times that she's happy with her life. You know, they need to just leave her alone now. So the conversation turns to Teresa and her new man. Melissa says, yeah, I met him. And Jackie's like, yeah, no kidding. You have the worst poker face ever. We know you met him. But just tell us, do you think he's good for her? Melissa, I do. I think he's going to be her husband. You are hanging around your husband too much. Also, can someone please tell me how Teresa can be the sane one in all this? If it really only has been a couple of months, then Melissa and Joe are making some really big statements. Now Teresa and Jennifer show up, and Jackie is opening her present. All the ladies chipped in for a pair of diamond earrings. They're pretty. Bravo kept showing us the bag, John Michaels. Is that Jennifer's brother? Do you remember the huge controversy? I mean, it turned into a big fight. It was when Teresa was competing in that, muscle body competition, whatever. And the ladies bought her a necklace that said strong and there was a diamond. Jennifer was mad because they didn't ask her or go to her brother for it. They went to a different place, and Margaret's like, I'm not going to go all the way into the city for, I don't know. It turned into a big, huge fight between Margaret and Jennifer, I think. Oh, yes. It was the infamous, your lips look like a Bucky's asshole. In her defense, Jennifer no longer aggressively outlines her lips, 4 shades darker than her lipstick. But yeah, that was funny. That was a good year. You can check out that here. So anyway, Jackie asks Teresa, when's the last time you went apple picking? And she goes, I think I was with my dad. Yeah, he liked to go. Jennifer then says that the last time she went was with her mom and dad. And Jackie said, oh, recently? And Jennifer said, yeah. So Jackie asked her, are they okay with each other doing things like that? Jennifer, no. Okay. My dad was okay, but my mom was all salty because he was there, and yeah. Then she tells them that her mom thought that the tea party was an ambush to get her to talk bad about Jennifer's dad. And then Jennifer starts to cry, and she said, I think my mom and I aren't going to be talking for a while. So everybody, felt bad for her. Then it was time to go. Melissa gets a text from her son, Joey. She's like, what is going on? And she gets up from the table and she said, Joey said, Dad's on the floor in so much pain. So she calls him and he's like moaning and groaning. And she's like, what is going on? And he said, I'm about to go to the hospital. And she goes, are you serious for real? And he said, yeah. So Melissa has to go back home, of course, and they think he's passing a kidney stone. So she apologizes to Jackie and says, I have to go. And Jackie's like, of course. So she leaves, and Teresa goes, I mean, I would go too, but like Melissa went. So yeah, Teresa, let his wife handle this one, okay? So anyway, they all get in the van and they're heading off to the vineyard orchard. I don't know what you call it, a vineyard, I guess. And Jackie calls Dolores from the van, and she said, hey, we're just leaving now. I didn't want you to be waiting there a long time for us. And she said, oh, I'm just leaving too. I was thinking to myself, they probably could have just swung by and picked her up then, right? But that wasn't even addressed. Jackie just said that Melissa's not going to be there because Joe just called and he's in agony, pain. They think he's passing a kidney stone. And she goes, I don't even know what hospital they went to. And Dolores said, have them go to Patterson. David's working today. He'll meet them there. Margaret goes, how crazy would it be if David ended up taking care of Joe? after he was talking about him like that at the party. Then Margaret, with her big giant mouth, says to Teresa, Melissa told us she'd met your guy, and she said he's the one. Why, Margaret? What did Melissa do to you? Teresa's like, oh my God, first my brother, now Melissa with the big mouth. Listen, I want to get to know him first before I introduce him to my friends. Do I think he's amazing? Yeah, like the best guy I ever met in my entire life. So now they get to the winery and they meet Dolores there. Actually, when Dolores gets there, she says to the person that works there, I'm looking for a group of loud, sparkly girls. Which I think is kind of a perfect description. They meet up and Jennifer says to Dolores, is David with Joe? And Dolores said, yeah. And Jennifer goes, we were just talking about how funny it is that Joe was going off on David and now he's going to be David's bitch. Dolores goes, I'll go you one better. If this is a kidney stone he's passing, they say the pain is worse than giving birth. So they all get on this, tractor pulled wagon thing to ride out to the orchard to pick apples first. And Dolores tells Teresa, I forget that Teresa wasn't there for the whole thing between Dolores and her brother. She left early. So Dolores says to Teresa now, your brother was in rare form at Michelle's party. I'm telling you, Teresa, your brother's going through something. We get a flashback to him being mad at Melissa for getting in the van ahead of him. Everything that happened earlier this season with Joe being, crazy. And Teresa's like, oh yeah, he is with me and Melissa. And now you? Dolores goes, I would have thought at some point Melissa would have told him to be quiet. I mean, just for his own sake. She was drunk, but yeah, I agree. I couldn't believe she let him go on and on like that. Jennifer goes, honestly, I was surprised you didn't get more mad at him. Dolores, what I was upset about was that everybody took a poll. When did this poll take place? Okay, I do kind of remember the poll. It wasn't like an official poll, but there might have been like a show of hands who thinks that David is stalling by giving her a car instead of a ring. I don't know. It wasn't like, attention to everyone at the party. Here are your paddles, vote yay or nay. I mean, it wasn't quite like that, but I guess I know what she means by the poll. Now Dolores says, yeah, because who raised their hand? Jackie right away admits that she raised her hand. She said, based on the past, I thought that you did want a ring. I don't think anybody was being vindictive. Dolores, Jackie, it's your birthday. Ooh, when she starts off like that, it's like, I am going to spare you, but she goes, I'm going to speak nice to my friend. But here's the thing. My friends were there taking part in a conversation about me at a party with strangers. Well, to be fair, I think the only other person that heard was Kathy. And we can hardly call Kathy a stranger, right? Hey, she might be sitting next to you on the hayride next year. You never know. If it's not Teresa's doors. And I bet they're heavy. It would be hard to hoist them up into that wagon. So Dolores is like, I have my say, now let's go pick some apples. So they all get down and of course they're picking apples in leather pants and high heels because of course they are. The guide is telling them where to pick from. She said they're in order of when they ripen. So to avoid the first 4 rows, and Teresa goes, I'm going to make an apple pie. So do you guys have McToshin? The guide goes, you mean Macintosh? Yeah, she does. The guy goes, those are terrible for making a pie. Because they're mushy inside or something, they get too soft. Teresa goes, oh, okay. So now the ladies split up and Dolores and Margaret are talking about the poll. Ladies, I thought we were done. And Jackie and Jennifer are talking about it as well because, that's what we do. Don't ever let anything go. Dolores says to Margaret, I'm just telling you that if someone were taking a poll on whether or not Evan was, doing stuff, like at the gym. Side note, did you guys see the Real House Husbands of New Jersey taglines. I posted Evan's in my Instagram. It's just at Jill Informed. It's so funny, and you can probably find all of them. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it for you here. I just want you to see it. Evan's was good. So anyway, Dolores is saying that if I was at a party and somebody had a poll on whether Evan was cheating or Melissa and Joe were going to survive Joe, going through menopause or whatever. She didn't say that, but she may as well have. She said, I would not have taken part in it. Not for a fucking second. Enough. I love Dolores, but when she gets mad, she's scary. Oh, side note, a correction from earlier. The ladies are not wearing heels. They're wearing like 4-inch wedges. So, they'll still get the height without aerating the lawn. Now it's on to the wine tasting. They sit down at the table and Teresa said, Melissa just texted me. It is a kidney stone. And David's with my brother. Jackie's like, that's karma. Karma's a bitch. Someone asked if he passed it, and Teresa said, no, they said he has to pee it out. Jennifer, ooh, pee it out. Ouch. Teresa said her dad used to get kidney stones and that it's hereditary. And the doctor said Joe should be checked for them. He's 46. Wait, isn't Teresa older than Joe? I read that Teresa was 46. You know what? I'm going to look that up right now. Oh, she's 48. Okay. And then Dolores said, he and Frank should get colonoscopies together. They're getting older. Margaret, Joe got one, but he should go again. He's going to be 65 this year. I see a guy's trip in their future. Oh, that sounds like fun. And also, Joe Benigno looks good for 65. I would not have guessed that. And, God bless him for keeping up with that idiot who's 46 and trying to drink him under the table all the time. No wonder he's throwing up. He's like 20 years older almost. Anyway, Margaret is going to have a birthday party for him. His birthday is in November. And it's going to be a combination Halloween birthday party. Margaret's like, everybody dress up in costume. It'll be fun. And Teresa said, Dolores, are you gonna bring David? Dolores gave it right back to her and said, I will if you bring your new man. She deserved that. So Jennifer says to Dolores, are you trying to not bring him around this group? Dolores goes, well, after what happened the other night. And right away, Margaret said, no, Dolores, bring him. Jennifer, I mean, he's your man. He should be there for you once in a while. Sitting that close to Dolores, I would not have thrown a shot like that. They were having a nice time. So Dolores says, this one, if she doesn't shut the fuck up, I'm going to tell you guys. Whoever mocked me by raising their hand. And Jackie goes, it wasn't mocking you. I wanted for you what I thought you wanted. Jennifer claims, yes, basically the same thing, that we thought you wanted a ring, and so we were supporting you in that, and now you say you don't want a ring? And Dolores goes, what are you getting at? Jennifer, I'm just saying, pick a lane. Dolores has a very mature response to that, I think, because I would think Dolores would just give her like a quick pop in the nose, knock her back off the chair maybe. No, she said, guess what? Life is constantly changing, Jennifer, and you go along with it and you don't fall apart if something goes a different way. Then in her confessional, I really like what Dolores says in her confessional, and I kind of wish she had said it right there to the ladies. She said, I was devastated after what Frank did, my marriage falling apart. But it taught me that things can change, and I wouldn't have the life I have right now if I had stayed with Frank. Next, we are at Melissa and Joe's house, and Joe is now up and around. I guess he passed the stone and he's feeling better. We get a flashback of David in the hospital with Joe, and David is drawing a diagram and explaining where the stone is and what has to happen and all that. And Joe says, David was great. Melissa goes, yeah, he called me several times too after you got home just to see how you were doing. And, I'm not sure about his commitment issues, if he has commitment issues or whatever, but I am staying out of Dolores' relationships now. And you should too. Joe, why? I could say what I want to her. Dolores is my friend. I've known her longer than I've known you, Melissa. And Melissa goes, I know, but she doesn't like it. Margaret was calling you chauvinistic. Okay, Well, Margaret and Melissa deserve each other because they both threw each other under the bus in the exact same episode. So Joe gets mad and he goes, actually, wait, Melissa goes on to say, women can survive without men. We don't need you guys as much as you think we do. And that's when he got mad and he goes, bullshit. You, as my wife, saying I'm a male chauvinist pig. And Melissa goes, I never said those words. Joe, you kind of did. I want my old wife back. That lovable, sweet girl. Oh, God. You almost have to laugh at how chauvinistic that is. He may as well have said, I liked you better when you just smiled and obeyed. Melissa basically says, I know you want more of my time and attention, but I'm telling you, I'm not going to let that get in the way of my own personal growth. So this conversation goes on, and I don't really want us to spend too much time with it because it's a fake storyline. There's no problem with their marriage. It's such a waste of time. Joe says he supports Melissa in everything she does. You wanted to be a singer? I built you a studio. You wanted to have a store? I built Envy for you. You needed help? I got you an au pair. But he also tells her that she's drinking the Kool-Aid if she doesn't realize that she stopped giving him enough attention. So he gets mad and he's like, we're done. This conversation's over. And he walks away. I know passing a kidney stone feels like giving birth, but maybe he is pregnant because his hormones are all over the place. Now, there are less than 2 minutes left in this show, and we were promised a Louis sighting. I believe the entire episode was called Teresa's Mystery Man. So now we're at Teresa's house, and she's getting ready, picking out clothes in her room, and in comes Melania. Melania will be playing the part of Gia, so I hope you all got that change in your playbill. She sits down on the bed, and she said, Mom, what are you doing? I'm picking out an outfit to go out with Louis. Where are you guys going? Out to dinner. So I don't know, I have this dress and I could wear it with these high boots. No, it's too much. Then she holds up this tiny little crop top and she goes, I like this. How is that not too much? Actually, I kind of like this scene, you guys, because Teresa asks Melania what she thinks of Louis, and she said, I really like him, you know that, but it's just a little weird to say my mom has a boyfriend. And they laugh, and Melania said, but you seem really happy with him. And Teresa's like, I am. Melania teases Teresa for getting all giggly, and, Teresa gets all giggly. It's actually really cute. Okay, so now the credits are starting to roll, and he hasn't even appeared yet. Bravo is so shady. Teresa is wearing the top that Melania suggested, and as I see it here, it looks like the bodice of a princess dress. I do love that she's wearing what her daughter chose for her, though. I mean, her daughter. Then the camera just pans to Louis walking up the front steps, and oh my God, those doors. Those conniving bitches got to him first. To be continued. Wow. What a cliffhanger. Will Teresa end up going out to dinner with Louis? Or will we see him heaving those doors into his car and driving off without her? I guess we have to wait for next week. And that's it for me. I will be back next week. I am loving this season so far. I did watch, and after this, I'm going to recap the first episode of Real Housewives of New York City, my favorite franchise. So I'm trying to make these still longer episodes, so I'm going to need extra time for that. I don't know when you'll see that. In fact, you will be seeing this episode first, but doing my best. Okay, I hope I see you guys next week. Don't forget to wear a mask. I love you guys. Bye.